All right, we are live. Hey guys, welcome to Eric Notowski Art. I am Eric Notowski. Thank you for joining me. Today I'm going to go over the basics of flatting a comic or a piece of art. It doesn't matter. And I'm going to be coloring a trading card that I'm offering with my campaign for Shadow Sentry, my own creation. Let me share that with you real quick. So if you don't already, please check it out. Let me find it. Where are you at? Dun, 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 dun. We'll just do the entire screen. Let's do it. This is my baby. This is Shadow Sentry. This is an X-Men meets the Matrix superhero team book with a supernatural twist. So if you miss comics like the awesome style of the 90s and stuff, I got you covered. Got some great covers from artists like Kevin Sharp, Matthew Weldon, and Mike S. Miller. It will be an ongoing series. A little bit of good versus evil and superheroes added to the mix. So check it out. Link is in the description. And we're going to be doing the trading card, the second of two trading cards that I'm going to be offering with the campaign. So let me pull that up and let's get going. Poke Fire, what's up? What if I hated comics? That's okay, because you're going to love my style and you'll be all right. Let's see, where is it? Boom. Because look at this artwork. How could you not want to get some of this awesome looking artwork right here? So this is Martian. He is the main villain for the Shadow Sentry, the mastermind behind all wickedness and vile things. I do. All right. So you want to be a comic flatter? Here's what you got to do. Let me share the link real quick. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Pofire. So yes, indeed. Many of you already do back this book, so thank you so much. If you do, if you don't, what are you waiting for? Go check it out, and you can get in on the awesome action. It is a superhero team book, and I promise it'll be awesome. It'll be fun, and the artwork will be great. So with the dawn of digital coloring, back in the day they used to do it all by hand, but now they do it on the computer. So you want to color on the computer. One of the things that comics will employ is a color separator. And what they do is they go in and they add flat color behind everything, behind all the inks. So I'm going to multiply this. I'm going to select it all. Try that again. Select all. That's not working. So pushing the space bar. So I'm going to select, let's do this darker red. And I've just dropped color behind everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to select pieces of the artwork, and I'm going to go around it very carefully with my selection tool. I'm using Photoshop, just so you guys know, on a Wacom tablet. I'm going to select this real quick, and I'm just going to find a color, and I'm going to drop it on there. Boom. So there you go. And I'm going to do this to basically the whole entire image. And the purpose of this is that way the flatter does it first, and then he sends it off to the colorist. And before the colorist colors anything, it'll be really easy for him to go in and just select this little area and then start messing with it, putting his highlights, his shadows, etc. So this is going to save the colorist a ton of time, and that's the purpose of that. One of the things that you don't want to do, I think a mistake some people make, is they go to the ink layer and they're going to use the quick selection tool, and they do this, and they'll just select it, and then they will drop color on it. Okay, but what happens is you're missing a lot of the area. So you need, the best way to do it is to use your selection tool to make sure you get everything fully. Another problem with that, I'm going to delete this. I'm going to show you another problem. Humphrey Bear, what's up, man? Welcome, welcome. One of the things you don't want to do when doing flatting is, again, using the selection tool, because unless your lines are really clean and everything is closed off, even if there's a little space in your lines, the selection tool is going to go in there. So let me find select right here. I just want to select the background, but look, it selected part of the cape. All right, so I'm going to have to go in my selection tool and fill that in. Okay, but let's say I just did this, and I'm going to drop color in my background. Let's see how it looks. Oop, let me multiply that. Multiply the layer so I can see through it. All right, so that's how that looks. Now, notice this. What I did select, it's not selecting everything. So it's leaving a little bit of a white line. And a problem I see sometimes is when a flatter doesn't do it properly, is in the comic book, you have this white line showing around the black, and it doesn't look that good. So let's say I come over here and I select this area and this area. Oh, that won't work. Just this area. Try some over here, over here, over here. Let's just see how this looks. And I'm going to do a dark gray. So I drop some color in. Now watch what happens when I delete the inks. This is what I'm left with. And what's going to happen, that's my background there. So if I keep going this route, let me show you over here. I'm going to select this arm. Just use my quick select tool. And even if I use my lasso tool and kind of get a little bit more and try and get more of the white, this is what's going to happen, and this is what we don't want to happen. Oop, wrong layer. Let me go back up to layer number 5, drop my color. Okay, delete my inks. I have a gap here. See this gap? And to show you a little better, let me drop in a black. Oops, that didn't work. Well, it did work, but not quite how I expected. Oh, that's because this is multiplied. All right. So now, so this is what I'm left with. So that does not look clean. And what you want to happen when you're flatting your work, or you're having a flatter flat your work, you want all these colors touching, so there's no gap in between them. So how to handle that problem is go to my first step. Erase that. I don't want to erase that. I want to fill that in with red. That's hidden. What is that on? Oh, I see. I must have. Why is it not filling it in? There we go. Okay, that's better. All right. So anyway, back to my first step. So what you want to do, the first thing you should do is put a big thing of color. Just fill up the whole page with the red. All right. So you fill everything in with red, and then you start selecting. And you come in here, you select the hand, you do that one color, and you do something else a color, but it's all overlapping. You're not going to have any white showing through. And so I'm going to keep going, and then you can see the final product, and you'll see what I'm talking about. If I can get through the whole thing, we'll see. This is very tedious work, and that's why people pay flatters to do this for them, because it saves the colorist a lot of time. I'm just doing it because I'm probably going to end up coloring this trading card, this Martian, again, and so I want to flat it just because it makes everything a whole lot easier. All right, so let me delete this layer. Delete my black here. Don't need that anymore. All right, so now the tedious work begins. I'm going to select his cape. And you want to get as close as you can to the black lines. And I'm going to make this is going to be red as well. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do dark brown for now. And that's the wrong layer. There we go. And if you're worried about messing up another layer, you can always lock these. If you see the background there has a little lock next to it, you can come right here and you can lock those layers. So I'm going to lock that one. Oh, it's not locking because I have a selection tool, I think, because it's hidden. All right, so I lock that one, show that one, lock that one. If it's hidden, you can't lock it. All right. So now you zoom in, make sure you got everything. Here's a little sliver that I missed, so I'm just going to use my brush tool, fill it in, make that a little bigger. All right, you want to get as close to that black line as you can. Make sure there's nothing coming through. All right, there we go. Come over here. I'm going to select this part. Now what I could do to help me out is I'm going to overlap. If I've done any other colors, like this, the white on his little button thing there, don't know what you call that, his little cape holder, I overlap that, and then I deselect it. So that way I know they're going to be touching as close as they possibly can. So this will probably take maybe close to an hour. Maybe, we'll see. Maybe not that much. But that's, you know, time you could be spending coloring it if you already have it pre-flatted. And so on my book, The Shadow Sentry, I have a flatter, and they don't cost that much. For someone to do a comic book page, it could be anywhere from $4 to $8. And everybody charges different prices, and everybody has, you know, a different way of doing things. But again, it saves the next step, which is the coloring, saves them a lot of time. And so I like to get flats done for my colorists, and then so that way they're just focusing on, you know, putting down the nice colors, the highlights, and all that stuff. They don't have to worry about spending time doing all this. Ooh, wrong color. All right, so I'll have to match. Bada boom. Okay, now I'm going to turn off this, and you see there's very little gap in between these two things here. And if there is a gap, what's coming through is the background color, not white. All right. And if I wanted, I can make my background color, you know, darker, so that way, if anything is showing through, it's not going to be red. It's going to be like a dark brown or something. Let me come in here, and again, after I drop the color in, I'm gonna just go over everything, make sure I don't miss anything. Looks good to me. Okay. Oh no. Dang gummit. All right, problem. When I was going through and I dropped the color here before, this gray, I put it on my ink layer. That's no good. So that's why it's still here. It's not on any layer except my ink layer. That's what you don't want to happen. That's why it's good to lock your layers. So let me see if I could delete that, and if it's not gonna screw anything up too much. I think it's okay. It looks a little funky, but let's see. So I'm going to go back up here and see where. All right, so I dropped it there. So here comes the decision-making time. Do I want to go back and do all that step again? Or do I just want to say, forget it? It's probably not going to, you're not going to see it anyway. Just go with it? Or do I waste time and go back and do everything all over again? I don't know. What do you think? What do you think? Let's see how it looks. It doesn't look that bad. I'm going to just go with it and forget about it. All right. But I am going to make sure that this layer I can't draw on. And currently I can. So even though the layer is locked, I could still draw on it. So there's a problem there. Usually your background layer will have that little lock on it. So what you could do is you could duplicate it, and then this one with a lock on it, you delete it. Now you put a lock on this layer and watch what happens. You can't do it. So there you go. That's what I want. I want to make sure I can't mess up my ink layer. Okay, so that's good. Let's go back to our flat layer. See, this is great. I'm making all these mistakes, and then you know what not to do. That's how it works. You watch other people make mistakes, so you don't have to. Okay, here we go. Let's get the shoulder pad in here. Boom, boom, boom. Again, I'm going to overlap. Put this down here. Come over here, select this one. This is all metal. Now his hand is metal as well. It's going to be the same color as the armor. So what I'm going to do, just for the flatting purposes, I could make it a totally different color. It could be orange. It doesn't really matter. The only purpose of it is to make it easy to select. So that way when I go and I do the final colors, I could select it, I can mess with it, and I'm going to have a layer for my flats, and I'm going to have a layer for my colors. So I could do whatever I want on the color layer, but the flat layer will always stay the same and always make it simple and easy for me to just go in and select. So it's really very, very helpful. Okay, now I'm going to deselect this brown and so I can make it the same color as these little cape holders, only because they're not touching. If they're touching, which actually might not be a huge deal, but what would happen if let's see if they're touching, when I go to select this thing, I'm going to get all that too. So it might be a pain, but it just depends on what you're coloring, and if they're the same exact color, then it's not a huge deal, because they're you're probably going to color it the same way. But I'm going to go back. I'm going to have them separate just to make it a little easier. Okay, let's go for the horns. We're grabbing this dude by the horns. Let's color his horns. And I don't know if you guys noticed or not, but the Hellborn logo is actually Martian's mask. I don't know if you noticed that or not. But I was just fiddling around. I was trying to create something cool for the Hellborn logo, and I liked it so much, I was like, you know what? That would make a sweet mask. So I'm just that's gonna be Martian's mask. It's gonna be sweet. And on that little mistake I made, I might normally go back and change it, but because this is going to be a trading card, it's going to be the final product size is going to be 2.5 by 3.5. So you're not even going to notice it. So I don't mind, saving some time on that. But on a comic page, I'm not coloring it, but if it were me, I would go back and do it. Just FYI. All right, so the horns, let's go like a yellowy orange. Let's do that. Boom. All right, I see a little strayness over here. Go in there, make it smaller, fill that in. Bada boom. Cool deal. And then select the background color, fill that in. So there you go. Hopefully you get the idea. Mess around with it, play around, make some mistakes, and then you'll know what to do. It's pretty simple, but again, there is a better way to do it than using the quick select tool, which would be the W hotkey. It's better to use the lasso tool, in my opinion. Now the background, let me show you. So I drew the artwork. The background was not there. I edited that in Photoshop. This stuff I did draw, but I ended up actually moving it down because I wanted more black space, on the top. And you'll notice that the black that I did put in there, this stuff right here, it's kind of a little wobbly. It doesn't look real good, but that's okay, because what I'm going to do after I do the color, I'm just going to add a filter and I'm going to blur it, but it's locked so I can't do it. But because it's fire, and fire, you know, it's typically a little blurry. It's not super clear and crisp. So add a little blur to it, and it kind of takes away that jagged edge. You can't really notice it so much. And I'm probably going to add some like a screen over it. So let me show you. Screen is an awesome way. So take your layer and then go to screen in this little thing right here, and watch. So with fire, that don't look right. Got to use the right brush. So I need my blurry brush, and then I'm going to reduce the opacity to, let's say, 47. Now, look at that. You get that cool little glow. Now it looks a little more like fire. So that's the plan with that. Take that off. All is good. Back to the flatting. Cool deal. Well, how are you guys doing? I hope everyone's doing good. Let me know what's going on. Let me know if you have any questions. But I'm just going to keep on flattening. Oh, and if you guys hang out, I have a surprise. I got some more colors back on the trading cards. So almost all of them are done. So crap, I kind of messed that up. You know what? Let's do this. I'm going to do his hand first just so I can get that out of the way, because otherwise I'm going to be working around that for a long time. So it's a foreground element, so I want to tackle this probably first. And that's actually part of that. This will all be armor. It'll all be the same color, but again, to make it easy to select, I'm going to make it the little cuff link area a different color. I've been practicing flatting and digital lettering. Awesome. That's a great way to just make some extra cash, because it doesn't take that long, but a lot of people are willing to pay to do it, so that's good. Have you checked out that website I mentioned, Comic Art Commissions? Have you got anything up on there yet? And for this, I'm going to do like this color gray. And then I'm going to do, oh, and I caught this over here. I need to fix this. There's a little red here. Oh, change my opacity. And I'm probably still in the blurry one. Yep, I am. So I need to fix that. And I don't want that to be blurry. Yeah, make sure you use the crisp brush. If you use the blurry brush, it's not going to give you a good selection, I don't think. Yes, I looked at it, but I didn't register yet. Cool. I know that they do have the lettering now, which is cool. They didn't have that when I first started. They just had, I think, colorist inkers and pencilers maybe. So they've added that, and so that's cool. And the flatting, you could probably go under colorists and offer the flatting there. It's just an idea. If you want to do more than one, depends on what tier you sign up for. But again, I mean, $5 a month, and you get everything. That's what I do. You know, if you want to try it for a month or two, I mean, you know, $5 isn't going to hurt you. Just test the waters, you know. The few flatters that I found, gosh, I've had people approach me at conventions and say, hey, do you need a flatter? I've had, people contact me that way. But I've had the guys that I do use, I feel like they might have just emailed me. So maybe they went on a site like Comic Art Commissions and then just emailed some of the artists, because most of the artists will have their information, contact information on the site. So they may have just emailed me from that saying, hey, do you need a flatter? So that's an idea if you want to kind of shop around and see if anybody needs a flatter. It's an idea. But yeah, I'm pretty sure the guy that I use, he didn't I didn't see him in person, you know what I mean, at a convention. So, all right, I'm just tidying up some of these lines real quick, and I put whiteout on my paper, and some of the stuff is still showing through, so I'm going to clean this up a little bit. It's going really slow. Photoshop's going slow. Yeah, it's dragging. Might be the stream. It's dragging it, I don't know. But I'll wait, Photoshop. I'll wait while you twiddle around. Come on, man. As long as it doesn't crash. Then I'd lose all this work. And that's why you need to save often. Save your project frequently. Usually it doesn't do this. Let's see what's going on here. Come on. That's funny. Nothing shows up. Like I have my little toolbar thing. I'm dancing around, but you can't see that. But if I do the other screen share, if I share my entire screen, then you'll see it. Share screen. I want to share the entire screen. You're just gonna you're gonna see the little comment section twice. So now you can see it probably. Let's see. There it is. Yep. There's my tool thing. But Photoshop is back up and working. Wonderful. Okay. All right. So, oh, come on. It's still really slow. Super laggy. All right. No, don't start that junk. I hate that. All right, let's go back here. All right. Wait. There we go. Now it's better. Something was going on in the background. So when I use whiteout on my page, usually what I'll do is I'll come here, I'll do highlights. And if I hit that, it'll get rid of all that grayness. Make it look better here. Just kind of clears that up. Because sometimes the whiteout, might be a little transparent or something. So just clean up that little stuff. If you want to chop these off. There we go. There we go. Just so it looks like I never went through those pieces there. Okay. Now where were we? Let me check this again. And let me make sure I didn't color on that because I unlocked it. Let me make sure I didn't color on it. Nope, just erased it. That's okay. All right, so I'm going to lock that so I don't make a mistake again. Come over here and fix that a little bit. Make sure everything looks good. Good, good, good. Okay, so again, most of this is going to be armor. It's going to be gray. But again, to make it easy to select, I'm going to do different colors. Now, if I'm doing a comic book page and I have like 50 little figures to flat, I'm not going to spend time doing all this different, you know, different items and stuff. I'm just going to do one and just do, do everything all the same color. Unless it's like, you kind of have to use discretion there. But if you think if one part will help a whole lot, help the colorist out, then go for it. Okay, so this I'm going to do, let's do this gray. And a little bit more. If the tone of the color is similar to another tone, it can be hard to select as well. For that, you can come up here and adjust the tolerance of your selection tool. So like if I go, if at 20 I'm good, I can select that. But let me see. If I'm going to select this tone, I'm going to make this tone, see, really similar to this one. All right, I'm only going to do it by a little bit. Okay, now let's try it again. See, so even though it's a little different, it's selecting the whole thing. So you kind of want to make them a big enough difference so that way Photoshop can pick up the difference. Or you can reduce the tolerance. I'm going to go to 10. And let's see if there we go. So this tolerance can make a difference. If you're the colorist and you're trying to select stuff and you're having a hard time, just reduce the tolerance and it can usually pick up the difference there. But if they're really close, then you might have a hard time. So let me go back over here. Back to the gray. Okay, there we go. Humphrey Bear says, I was doing lettering for an indie comic. I did 2 pages, but the artist is on a break, I think. Cool. So you got some work. Awesome, awesome. Do you always write a script and do thumbnails first, or do storyboards? I don't do storyboards in like they would in a movie, how you like storyboard the entire script. I don't do that. I do the script and then I'll do it, page by page. Some people do the entire book. I haven't done that. Probably because I feel like by the time I get to like page 15, I probably want to change stuff, just because that's the way I am. I'm very like indecisive sometimes. So I just do it, page by page, or I'll do like, if it's a spread, so like page, 2 and 3. If it's a spread, I'll do them both together, so that way I can kind of see how they're going to look on the page. And obviously, if it's double page spread, I do them both at the same time. But yeah, I do it, on a single page basis. But if I was doing someone else's story and working off someone else's script, I might want to do, further out, like maybe 10, 15 pages, just to make sure that everything flows right and things like that. I've run into the issue working on a comic where I'll read like maybe half the script. I won't finish the full script. I'm like, okay, I got a good idea of what I want to do. I'll start going. And then by the time I get to the other half of the script, there's something that is like a key part that, had I known that it was there, I would have spent more time designing or working on that in the first part. But because I didn't read the second half of the script, I'm like, oh, I didn't know that was going to be such a major issue. So I kind of, I shot myself in the foot 1 or 2 times because I didn't read the entire script. So that's just me being lazy and oops. So then you just got to figure out stuff and work it in there. But yeah, the one book I was working on, I think I talked to the writer and I was like, hey, here's what happened. Is there a way to rework this so it's not so it makes more sense or whatever. But you know, sometimes it's not a huge deal. But I'm just saying, read the entire script. I'm lazy like that sometimes. Just because I start reading the script and I get like all these pictures in my head, I'm like, oh, this would be awesome, and then I just start going, and then I'm like, oh, I'll get to that later, and then I never get to it. So, all right, where were we? Boom. Okay, now that I have his hand done, I can kind of go to his chest area. All right, that's locked. Good to go. All right. Do. But to answer your first question, do you always write a script and do thumbnails first? You always want to. I think it's important to write the script first. That's what I did, at least, because that's like your, you know, your basis for everything, kind of. I think I know Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. I heard that when they were working, Jack Kirby would he'd just start drawing stuff, and then it'd be like, okay, now Stan, you come in and you add the dialogue. So they kind of did it backwards, but it worked just because they were, you know, really talented guys. But I think, you know, if you're writing your own book, you could try that. I think that might work, but you know, working as a team, that'd be really difficult, especially today with, you know, the way things are done. It's good to have a basis for stuff. Just not flying by the seat of your pants. All right, so this is going to be a dark blue. And again, if the colors are a little off, I'll adjust it in the color phase. But for now, that'll work. Oops. See, I forgot to take off that there. All right, so let's go back. Don't fill it in yet. Take that off. Take that off. And then I'm going to, with my lasso tool, add this little part. Nope, I don't want to add because it'll be blue. I want it to be gray. All right, so that's good. Let's try that again. Nope, wrong color. Darn it. What am I doing? Why are you guys watching me? I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, look, and I forgot that part too. Oh, geez. All right, so deselect that one. Bada boom. Now we're ready. Let's try that again. Oh, look, I missed his horn. Let's try that again. Deselect. There we go. Now we're ready. And I think we got it this time. You got to pay attention. Do you use gradients for shading? Yes, I do. I do employ the gradient tool. I use the brush probably more than I use the gradient tool, but I do use the gradient tool. I will use the gradient tool for like bigger areas. For smaller areas, I'll use the brush, and I'm sharing my entire screen, so yeah, you should be able to see this. So all my brushes, this one right here, I love this brush. All right, so if you can kind of see it, it kind of gets washed out towards the end. So it kind of has a gradient to it itself. See that? So I like this one a lot. I use this one a lot. Now, you know, you might not always want to see that. So, but again, it kind of helps, you know, blur stuff and blah, blah, blah. So I really like that one. I'll use that one a lot. What else? Yeah. So I try and use brushes if I want to get and some of these brushes, I think a lot of these come with Photoshop. You can download brushes, which I've done a little bit, especially on these calligraphy kind of brushes. So if I'm inking, I use these for inking, which I don't do too much of on Photoshop, just because I'm not that good at it. But I do have those. There's ones that I had, but I lost because I reloaded my tools and they weren't programmed in there. But they're actually trees. They're creepy looking trees. But you know, if you've looked into brushes, there's so many, you know, different stuff you could do with them. This one I love for texture. If I'm doing a ground, this will give you a great texture for like ground or something, sand, dirt, you know, whatever, walls. So I love that one. But yeah, I do use gradients. And then for like highlights and stuff, I'll pretty much just use my normal line because I want them to be nice and solid. So I'll just use this. So if I'm gonna go add a glare of the fire, you know what I mean, I'll use one of these. And then obviously erase what I mess up. But so yeah. Now some of this stuff is actually going to be red. Like these two stripes down his chest, they will be red. So what I can do is fill in everything around that red. Or you know, either way, if I do this area, let me do this area. Deselect. Either side I choose, the good thing is the hollow area that's left over is going to be super easy to select. So that I will use my quick select tool for. And see, since I'm not worrying about, let me do that again. So this line I'm going to worry about hitting perfect, okay? But to save time, when I get over to this line, I'm not going to worry about tracing this. I'm just going to go into what I've already colored, and then in 2 seconds I can deselect all those colors, and then I can add my red. And I'm going to do a bright red. Boom. Now, come over here, and I select that real fast because it's hollow. So you can't tell there, but if I take away this, it's just, you know, the same color as the background, but I can select it really easily. And that's black. I'm just going to select that too. And again, this is going to be metal, so I'm just going to go ahead and just give it that same color. All right, so there are some, you know, quick whatever you call it, quick things you could use. But again, I colored everything around it, so it kind of made it a lot easier to snag that stuff there. Then I'm just going to go back in, make sure I got everything real good. Because this is red, it's going to be probably brighter. I want to make sure that that looks good. So this here, kind of. So it's good to just kind of go back and check your lines, just make sure nothing's like, you know, you might get some stray lines and stuff. Or something might be colored that you don't want to, so just kind of go in and rework it, tweak it, make sure it's ready to go. And yep, again, I'm gonna select this whole pectoral muscle. Get rid of that, get rid of that. And I'm gonna go gray, deselect. Now I'm gonna reselect this area. Nope. Pushing the wrong keys here. So with the lasso tool, if you don't push anything and you just do it, it's gonna select, but there's also the deselect button, which is the Alt Option key, and that'll deselect. What am I doing? I want to select. Sorry. I apparently didn't eat my Wheaties today. Okay, here we go. Now I'm selecting. Woohoo! All right, so I'm going to select that, and then I could deselect it, and then I've got. So I'm kind of only tracing one line, if that makes sense, rather than 4, or I'm tracing 2, whatever. Boom, done. All right, now you see I kind of got a little residual here. Take my brush tool, clean that up, and we're good. And then I see a little stray line here in my inks, so I'm gonna erase that, gonna fix that. There we go. Lock that again, go back here. Okay, let's see. How long have I been? 44 minutes. All right, so yeah, probably about an hour. Probably gonna take me an hour. So let's go up here It just depends on how, you know, ornate, how much detail is going on, how much little details you got. Because this is one figure, I want to get, you know, all the details in there, just to make it easier on myself. I'm getting a message from Matt Cosson because he's gonna do a trading card for me. What? You heard it here, folks. Actually, I already announced it, but hey, if you haven't heard, Matt Cosson's gonna do a trading card. So the drawn and quartered trading cards on Mike S. Miller's Drawn and Quartered used to be Wednesday night, now it's Tuesday night episodes. We did a Shadow Sentry episode, and everybody drew some Shadow Sentry characters, and I'm gonna show you those in a bit. But I got most of their artwork, and I'm gonna do some trading cards with them. But Matt Cosson, he went the extra mile. He's doing, oh yeah, this is already colored, so I could just kind of do this whole area. What am I doing? See, I'm wasting time. He went and did a whole new image for me, so I'm really excited to see that. I have not seen it yet, but he's sending it soon, so that's cool. So because this is black, I am you'll see I skip some areas. Now that could be good or bad. If there's like little white stuff showing through, I'm gonna get the background color and not the color that I'm making this stuff. So just something to keep in mind. Back in the day when they did color separations, and probably could have been the printing process too, but if you've ever seen comics where the black will change colors and you could totally see where they, you know, dropped color and where they didn't drop color, that was just one of the things of the old school coloring that they had to deal with. But I don't see that too much anymore, and I don't know if it's because of the printing or if it's because of the color separations got better. But it's just something I noticed, and you know, it's kind of annoying. But thankfully, we've gotten better at this stuff. But it was mostly old comics and all that good stuff. Could have been more of the hand coloring comics too. All right, so this I'm gonna stop here. Oh my gosh. See, I didn't do the minus. I was doing the plus. So I did all that, and then I got to do it again. That's why I'm here, folks. I do stuff and I make mistakes so you don't have to. Learn from my mistakes, folks. That's why I'm here. I just registered in comic art commissions. Woo! Do I make a profile next? Yes, I believe you do. You'll add all the information. You'll add all that good stuff. Tell them why they should hire you, how many years experience you have, and then, you know, if you don't have a lot of experience, don't worry about it. Just show them your awesome samples and let that speak for you, my friend. All right, so let's go gray on this bad boy. Boom. All right, this will be easy to select because it's inside all that. So I'm just going to do a skin tone on that. Same here, skin tone, boom. Same here. Oh, look at that. That's all right. Great. All right, so that's taken care of. Let me go around, make sure I hit all this. Make sure it looks clean. Do this here. So I'm almost done, but before I leave today, I will show you, I just got the colors back on the other trading cards from the other artist, Elliot Fernandez, another Matthew Weldon, and is that it? There's actually two Matthew Weldon images he sent me, so I got two of those. A Bloodbane and then the Hopscotch, which I already showed the Hopscotch. So I'm going to select this color. This little ornamental design here, thinger, button, whatever. Just gonna save some time and color that with the brush. Ain't wasting time on that. Let me do the arm, and then that should encase this. Well, maybe not, because it's, I'm gonna drop that with the brush. Okay, this will be red. So if I color this arm, that'll kind of sandwich in this area, and that'll make that easier to select. The bottom I haven't colored, but I'll show you a little trick for that. This arm is going to be blurry because it's closer to the fire, so the inks on this look crappy, but it's only because I knew I was going to blur it up. Hello, Teresa Galileo, who also happens to be my mom. Hi. How are you? Hope you're doing good. I'm doing some art. All right, let's do all this. Do. All right, that little sliver is gonna be gray. All right, so deselect that. I'll make it this darker gray. Boom. Okay. Now, so this is gonna be red, and it's sandwiched in between, you know, stuff I've already flatted. So all I have to do is I'm gonna come in here with my selection tool, and it's gonna select this little ribbon. So I'm gonna take that, beef up my brush, and then just come in here. And I'm gonna definitely come back and make sure I hit everything, because when you do it with the brush, it's easy to miss little spots and stuff. So, all right, so deselect, let me turn that off. Looks good. So there's a little sliver there, but I don't know if that's just, I probably didn't select that area. Just in case, let's give it a try. Yep, didn't select it. It's all right. It's covered in black, you're not gonna see it. But for good measure, boom. Okay, let me do this little orb. Barrel. Doing good. Cool. Humber Bear, the colors look different on different screens. How do you make sure the colors will be right when they are printed? When you say different screens, do you mean, how do you mean? That could be because of the mode you do it in. Could be. Okay, let me explain that real quick. So I've run into, okay, so printing is usually going to use CMYK. Right now, the file I'm working on is RGB, red, green, blue. CMYK is cyan, yellow, M is magenta, K is for black. So it's a different printing process. So if I'm doing this file in RGB, I know for a fact that the guys I'm sending the cards to, they want you to send it in CMYK. Okay, so let's say I was working on this image in CMYK, which you can change easily by going to mode. Go to image mode. You could change it to grayscale. You could do CMYK color, which I'm gonna have to convert it when I'm all done. But for now, I'm doing it in RGB. Now, if I have my file in CMYK and I email it to you, okay, I can see it on my laptop, TV monitor, on my phone. The TV monitor looks the best. Okay, so they just all look different? That's weird. That might just be the whatever you're on your device. But yeah, that's weird. But anyway, if I were to email someone a CMYK file, it's going to look totally different on their end. Because I've done that before, because I know the guy's going to print it. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to give you a CMYK file. And he's like, but it looks different. It looks horrible. It looks blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, it's only because, you know, whatever. It's because of the file, you know, the mode that it's in. So, and then I had to send him an RGB, and then it, you know, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, he's just like, just give me the RGB. I don't care. So that will make a difference for sure. And also, if you're going to post it on the web is going to read it differently if it's a CMYK file. So for web and for email and stuff, it has to be RGB if you want it to look like it looks on the screen. So that's something I had to learn. But yeah, so it's just, I think the way it reads it or whatever. But why your devices look different? I don't know. That's weird. I can't answer that one. Sorry. I don't have an answer. All right. I'm going to do this stuff all the same. But I'm going to say your computer monitor is probably going to look the best. So I'd use your computer if you're doing Photoshop stuff. That's what I would say. It's not like you can do Photoshop on your phone, but I don't know why it would look different. It's kind of weird. Take away that. Take away that. I'm gonna come up here, grab this gray. Oop, take away this and that. Some of that. Some of that. There we go. Oops. If you do Command Delete, it's gonna fill in this color. If you do Alt Delete, it'll fill in this color. And one of the hotkeys you could use is X, and X is gonna hop these two back and forth, which comes in handy. If you go Command D, oh, no, that's deselect. And I see I missed that too. All right, so let me go back. Cancel. Go back to Magic Wand. Minus. Oh, I see. It's because I didn't fill anything in. Okay, we're good. Come on. Jeez, man. I'm going to use my lasso tool and just take this off. It's not a big deal, but whatever. Okay, let's try that again. Boom. Okay. If you hit D, the hotkey of D, it's going to give you black and white. So if you're here and you hit D, it's just going to go back to this. Okay. Let's go brushy, brushy. Fix this. Clean that up. All right. And because this area is now sandwiched in between everything else, I'm going to drop in the red. Boom. All right. Let's see here. I'm going to do this area first. And you can kind of see where I deleted that area, how it looks really, it's not as blurry. I don't know if you can see it on your end, but this looks like really crisp and clean, and this, where the pen marks are, it's kind of blurry, but that's where I deleted all that stuff there. So shouldn't, I can see it on my laptop and TV monitor and on my phone. So anyway, I hope you understood all that, but basically, if you're going to print, most printers are going to want CMYK, but not all. When I do my prints for conventions and stuff, when I send them to that printer, RGB is fine, and they look great. So yeah, okay, so all this stuff. But usually, you know, to see what the final product is going to look like, usually viewing it on your monitor, it's going to look fine. The only thing to remember, though, is behind your monitor is light. So, like, you have light shining through it. So when you go to print, things might be a little darker than what you see on your screen because your screen is lit up. You know, it's like backlit almost. Whereas when you're printing on a page, you don't have light shining through it. It's just ink on a page. So you could try, like, making your screen brightness a little dimmer just to see, you know, how it looks. And the good thing with my paper prints is I go look at them and I can tell right there that, oh, I like them. I drive to the guy's place, he's close, and so if anything is off, you know, he's usually really good about switching it for me. which I don't run into too much trouble with that. But if it's like a print run on a comic book and you're printing, 200, 500 copies, and then you get it in the mail and you're like, this looks horrible, that could be an issue. So that's why they do have print proofs, which I'm actually looking into printing stuff right now. And they'll send you like a PDF copy of how it's going to look, but that's just like the printing, where crops are going to be, where the pages are going to be cropped. That's not, you're not really getting a good look at what the final colors are going to be. So you can request a paper copy, like then print something off, and then they send you like 7-8 pages, and then you can see the colors. But it's a fee. It's a little bit more than just them emailing you that. So if you're worried about it, depending on what you're doing, you could always just have them email you. All right, last but not least. His eyes, they'll be red. Boom. Or orange. Let's do red. They're gonna be glowy red. All right, so there you go. Let's see how long that took. An hour. Haha, told you. Well, minus some time because I was messing around. But, oh yeah, and this actually, Hunter Bear asked, when you first started, did you get work on your own or did an agency help you find commissions? I did it on my own. I started getting a lot more commissions and such when I was doing conventions. Not only from people, in person asking for commissions, but I got my first comic book, the Monomyth book. Those guys approached me at a convention. The Hand of the Morning Star was because I was doing the internship, but the Monomyth, that was like my first like comic book that I got through a convention. The other stuff is through the website, the Comic Art Commissions. Like today, that's mostly how I get my commissions and stuff. So, yeah. I just don't want that to be red. So that'll be red. I think that's it. He does have like these V-shaped kind of ribbons on his side that are red, but you don't really see any of those. So I think that should do it, folks. So that is flatting 101. And now if I take away all this stuff, you're left with just the flats and stuff like this. Again, this is probably why you want to use like a dark color, just in case anything does show through. It's going to be darker rather than a red, because a red is kind of, it pops a lot. So I could just come here and make sure none of that red is showing through. I can see like a little tiny bit right there, but it's not a huge deal. I could fill it in. But yeah, so this is going to make selecting the colors when I go to color so much easier. Again, you see a little red creeping through there, a little bit over there, but again, you shouldn't see that. And honestly, once I finish coloring, let me go brown. Once I go to the color stage and I'm done, I'm gonna see probably those little red things creeping through. I just use red because of we got fire in the background. But again, you probably want to use a good darker color, like a dark green, dark blue, and that'll just make sure that nothing is peeking through your colors there. Sometimes it'll show up, but not always. Especially if you have a good black color, you're not going to see any of that there. You can see that kind of looks messy right there. Oops. But yeah, Humphrey Bear, I never used an agent for getting work. So I don't know how much they cost. I don't know how much they take in commission, you know, on their end if they do find you a commission. I don't know. So I'm sorry I can't help you out there. All right. Before I go, let me show you these cards. All right, so the first up, this is Commander Noble. This one I drew, I colored. This one is going to be offered with the campaign, the Shadow Sentry campaign. Every backer gets one. And then because we're almost close to 20,000, I thought we were doing, I thought I had the stretch goal at 18,000. So this Martian trading card, every backer is going to get as well. So it's actually 20,000 stretch goal, but it's all right. My mistake. So everybody's going to get the Noble and the Martian trading card. And then I will be putting up on the campaign the drawn and quartered trading card perk. So here is Brazen. This is by Kevin Sharp. Colors by Tio Gonzalez. That looks awesome. So got that one. Hopscotch. I showed this is Matthew Weldon. This is one of the trading cards. Elliot Fernandez. He did, this is Fusion versus Cogent. So that's cool. A little brighter. And then Bloodbane, this one Matthew Weldon did as well. So this one looks sweet. So there you go. Those will be, I still have the Matt Costin, and hopefully I get Mike Miller's in there. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So maybe 6 extra trading cards that you can pick up in the drawn and quartered crew perk. All right. So there you go, guys. So check out the link is in the description. Check out the Shadow Sentry campaign page if you want to check out what that is about. And that's going to do it for me today. If you have any more questions, feel free. You can comment on the YouTube video. You could shoot me a comment if you have a question about anything else. I could hit it in another stream that I do. But thank you guys so much for being there. Hope you're all doing well. And see anything else? Spider-Man Miles Morales. My kids are having an awesome time. I'll print these out for them. I'll grab images off the internet, or I'll print up one of mine. Here it is. Let me see this one. Oh, get out of here. Here's a Deadpool I printed out for my son, and I print them out in blue lines, and then they ink over them, and they have fun with that. Here's another Deadpool. So I'll have some, if all goes well, if there's a Friday night auctions this week on Mike's channel, I'm going to offer some of my kids' artwork on there. So, yes, indeedy. H. Sapien says, nice. Thanks, man. Yeah, so I'll have some of my artwork that my kids inked over. So, cool deal, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. It's been fun. Till next time. Probably next week I will stream again. Maybe I'll color this trading card for you guys, and I'll kind of walk you through that, and you can ask me questions. And but real quick before I do, I'll take this flat layer. Let me label it flats. Boom, and then I'm going to duplicate it. I'll just hit Alt, and then I'll drag this up, and it'll create a totally new layer. This new layer will become my colors layer. And then I'm just going to work from that. But this one I'm going to keep, and I'm going to hold that there. I could always, what's this? Oh, that was the screen stuff. Delete that. I'll keep that there, and I'll lock it. And then I can always go back and select on it. All right, so that's that last step. And till next time, I'll do some coloring for you guys. Look forward to it. Stop screen share. All right, guys. Peace out. Thanks again. Bye-bye.